All right, we're getting down to the end of this in the situational series here. So what we're looking at right now is back offensive, all right? This is me applying the back position. You may notice there was no real back defensive. We're gonna call that kind of a part of it right here and just say that's something we also want to learn because it's pretty basic. It doesn't really need its own kind of situational here. Yeah, it doesn't really need its own area code, so to speak. It's pretty basic. We learned that pretty early, but we're gonna hold them accountable to it kind of in this whole thing. So back offensive means we're looking to see if the athlete understands the concept of hook control, okay? Now, we may have them start it sitting up like this, and in fact, instructors, I would tell you probably start it like this. You can start them both ways with a double underhook, and then you can move them to an overhook on one side and an overhook on the other so they understand the importance of not being able to dictate position. So if I'm here and Coach Rajan lays to her left, well, that wasn't my choice, but I have a high side overhook. We want to make sure that they understand that they can dictate what a high side is and what a low side is simply for nomenclature purposes. Okay, we're not asking them to step on the hip and do a bunch of advanced stuff. Simply understand, a high side versus a low side is dictated by the arm that's the choking arm, which is the one that's over the shoulder, not the one that's underneath. That's the support. The choking arm is going to be the one that's over. And high side versus low side is simply a indication of where the elbow is at. So if right now the elbow is up, it's a high side. If we were to switch this and I had the overhook on the other side, the choking hand is now pointing down. The elbow is now pointing down. It makes it a low side. You're going to ask the athletes if they're in a high side or a low side. They have to understand that concept, and it's very quick to understand. So here we're in a low side choke because my low elbow is down. Here we would be in a high side choke because the elbow is high and it's over the shoulder, right? So we want to make sure that they have a capacity to maintain this position right here, whether it be by kind of crossing their feet or whatever the case may be, and that they can fight to these positions back and forth to maintain a rear-mounted position. We also want to ask the demonstrating person to lay flat onto their belly to push to a top rear-mounted position, and we want to see that our athletes will try to attack from this position because this is the most dominant position in jiu-jitsu, and we don't want them to simply bail off if a person tries to run to their stomach because this is the best position to be in. We want to see that they understand that. Now, in a part of this is going to be that we understand the back escape, which we'll call this the hip escape. Some people call it the scrape because they try to scrape their hips out. What Coach Rajan is going to demonstrate here is that we quickly make sure our athletes understand remove the bottom hook and just slide their hips out and turn inward. And this is the basic prescribed escape for back in any academy in the world. They're going to teach that. It's pretty basic. Push the bottom hook off, slide the hips out, and we know how to escape.